story so far.
We bought our dream project that we found abandoned in the plane bunker. And when we saw it, well, we knew we had to buy it. But we really didn't know what we were getting into. They have literally stuck a new panel on with sealant. And not to mention the holes, dirt, more dirt, rust and more rust, and all of the damage. And then we uncovered one of the Beetle's deepest secrets.
As you can see, we bought a right-hand drive Beetle, or so we thought. On closer inspection, there's been a lot of welding on the dashboard. And it looks like the glove box and the speedo have both been swapped around. So it got us thinking, is this a true right-hand drive?
And after hours and hours of research and blood, sweat and tears, we finally found out some information.
Well, photography of the week, full of insects this week.
Bro!
Okay, let's go.
Here's what we found so far. This feature is for the side mirror and is only present on the right hand side.
And as you can see on older Beetles, they only had the mirror on the driver's side.
And as you can see here on the left hand side, there seems to be a hole for the passenger light. And as you can see here, there is definitely no hole on the right hand side. Down here on the firewall we have these two holes. One for the steering column and one for the brake master cylinder. And they do not look factory. As you can see here on the steering column, it looks really rough around the edges. Down here on the right hand side of the floor pan, we have these four holes, which seem to be for the pedal assembly. But we do not know as we don't have one yet. And they also aren't visible on the left hand side. We also have this hole here, which is for the brake line, which leads us onto our fifth and final clue. For the tunnel, we have these four metal brackets. Here, 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 and here. These are used to hold the brake line in place. We also have this hole here, which feeds the brake line to the rear brakes, and those holes are definitely not on the other side. This suggests to us that the brake master cylinder is definitely in the correct place.
In conclusion, we think that this is a right-hand drive Beetle. And at some point in its life, it must have been converted to a left-hand drive, then converted back to a right-hand drive before it came to the UK. Let us know in the comments if you agree, disagree, or have any thoughts about this. Now back to the build.
Last episode we said we were going to take the body off the chassis and attempt to take the body off the chassis. And to do that, we need to strip down the car.
We first started off with the windows as they were the most fragile bit. All we needed to do was peel off the weather stripping and then we could remove the window. And there's the window out.
There's more dirt.
Now time for the front window. And soon we managed to peel off the weather stripping. And after we got it all off, and the excess rubber, we were ready to remove the window.
Wow.
There it is.
Original glass.
Right, now it's time to dismantle everything on the doors. We first started by removing the door locks and latches parts. And after that process, we went on to the window regulator. With my dad's absolutely stunning reaction.
Whoa.
And then we went on to the door's front quarter glass rubber seals. But due to years in a hot country, they were literally rock hard. So we needed to get the grinder out.
Let's do this.
We first started by stripping away all of the rubber we could get to, but the majority of it was just rock hard. And when we had finally paved away some of the seals, we could get to the bolts for the front quarter glass window. And after we'd stripped the door bare, it was time to tackle the door hinge bolts.
Oh, yes.
We managed to get the top 4 bolts off with penetration oil and an impact drill. But the bottom bolts, well, they just wouldn't budge. Being new to this, we weren't sure if the nut plate behind the door hinges was loose or welded in. The problem being If we had to drill the bolts out, a welded nut plate would cause us even more problems. Because we were already going to replace the panel, we decided to open up the area so we could inspect the nut plate.
Oh, look at that.
But luckily the nut plate was actually salvageable. So we cleaned up the area and then...
We've had to get the blowtorch out. Oh, yes! Yes! How many is that? 7 out of 8 bolts. That's not bad.
And after we removed all of the bolts, it was time to take off the door.
There's a door!
The other side, well, was a bit worse. But at least we got a new spanner.
Yeah!
Then we moved on to the bonnet, which was pretty straightforward as it was only a few bolts. But we then made a big decision that changed our plans. Firstly, the aim of this video was to take the body off the chassis, but structurally this Beetle was a lot worse than we thought. When we cut a hole in the A-pillar, we realised the extent of the rust hidden in these panels.
The rust is spread along the heater channels, making the metal very thin. This is a problem as the heater channels are a very structural part of the body. So lifting the body off the chassis could mean that the body could potentially twist or bend out of place.
This does mean we're going to have to brace the body, from the A-pillar to the B-pillar and across.
And without proper reinforcement, we'd run the risk of folding the body inwards.
This also means we're going to have to buy some new heater channels. And here lies our problem.
Finding heater channels in this shape in the UK are really hard to find.
And after being to so many shows, we still couldn't find the right heater channels. Which also does mean we can't take the body off the chassis right now. But we do get to wheel the car outside and work on it in the sunshine. So see you guys in the next episode. But we did get to see some pretty cool cars. Thank you so much for watching, and please make sure to